Well, at least 17 high-profile Saudi Arabians, including senior princes, current and former government ministers and businessmen, were arrested by security forces this weekend on the orders of King Salman. The purge is being billed as a crackdown on corruption, but also concentrates power around King Salman's son, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Bloomberg Yusuf now joins us from our studios in Riyadh to tell us about what really is going on. What's going on, Yusuf?
Yeah, so as you pointed out then, a sweeping process that really included some of the most high-profile figures in this country across business and politics, princes, current and former officials, unprecedented in the history of Saudi Arabia. And the question that this raises really is whether the reform process more broadly is moving too fast. The Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, he's been at the forefront of this. He cemented his position already over the summer. And now with this latest move against some of these figures on the basis of corruption, it really could feed into more concerns that a country that historically has not been very flexible in terms of opening up to new reforms and to new ideas is suddenly moving at too fast a clip. And you certainly get that sense being here on the ground in Riyadh and speaking to a lot of the stakeholders.
What's the message? You know, you mentioned that the Crown Prince is in fact leading this purge. What's the message that's being sent out by these moves, Yusuf?
I'm going to quote straight from the message of the King over the weekend in terms of the message that is being sent. The comments were quite clear, pointing out that they will not let anybody be above the law. They will fear no one, quote, and that is the same whether big or small. And that is the message that's being sent. Corruption will not be tolerated. Arguably, there is a part of this population that is going to welcome that. There is a percentage of investors that are going to welcome that in terms of transparency for some of the listed companies. But it also sends a signal of fear a little bit in terms of where the story evolves from here. These high-profile people, what's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to their assets? Al-Walid bin Talal, the most prominent of those arrested, has a major portfolio domestically. Kingdom Holding and Kingdom Tower right behind me, you can see it, is a key feature of the Riyadh skyline. You're looking at a portfolio of assets abroad ranging from a stake in Accor to Citigroup to Twitter. What's going to be the resolution of this standoff with these influential names?
How are market participants reacting right now? Is this a state of panic, shock? Can you explain to us what people are telling you on the ground?
So the message from investors and what the smart money is pointing to is that this is a centralization of power that is necessary to do the kind of painful reforms that are needed to push this country to the post-oil age. That's the consensus message from investors. There's no two doubts about it. And you're seeing that as well in the reaction on the equity market. A little bit to the downside yesterday, a little bit to the downside today, with Kingdom Holding being the exception for a number of reasons. And the same applies to the forwards markets in terms of the trade against the Saudi Riyal peg. So the 12-month forwards there saw a little bit of a spike, but nothing compared to what we saw over the summer with the Gulf crisis and the tensions with Qatar, where we saw a major spike as well in the 5-year credit default swap. So the reactions in terms of money, in terms of capital, have been contained. But having said that, there's still a lot of unanswered questions about the resolution of this story that could still change these capital flows quite significantly, and also has a lot of decision makers on edge. They want to see how this plays out first.
Yusuf, we'll leave it there. Many thanks indeed for joining us. Yusuf reporting from Riyadh about the latest situation in United Arab Emirates, the Saudi Arabia particularly. But it's interesting to find out what this means, Ira, because this has gotten investors globally a bit nervous. Oil, for instance, has surged for the third straight session, where I'm talking both WTI and Brent prices, and that's perhaps the single important factor that can topple this party that's going on in global markets.
Absolutely.